Welcome to Will It Work? I'm Kevin. Today we are looking at the Windsor TV game, which is another Pong system. If you've been following this series for a while, I will say that this is going to be the last Pong system before we go into the Odyssey Pong series. I'm going to show you all of the Odyssey Pongs, and as of now, I think that will end all of my current Pong consoles that I have once we get through all the Odysseys. If I run across one somewhere that I haven't covered, of course I will add it. In terms of collecting further Pongs, I don't want any more that are of the microchips that I already own. We've seen plenty of AY38500 chips and the Texas Instrument chips. I do kind of like the analog systems though, but I honestly think I might have all of them? I'm not sure. But there are some out there that are rare. I would like to get, for instance, a Soviet one that they created. They're very expensive when I find them. Or something that's just out of the ordinary. If I see something and it looks interesting, great. As well as, I'm not going to turn down something if I happen to be at a thrift store and there's a one there that I don't have. Even if it is a, one of the various microchip units that I already have. If it's really cheap and it's at a thrift store or a garage sale or something, I'll pick it up. But as of right now, with my existing collection, I think that's all of them. Maybe one or two might pop up, but I don't think so. So this is the last of the series before the Odysseys. Windsor Industries from Long Island, New York made this one. Pretty sure it's just the same as every other one. It's got the same 4 games: tennis, squash, hockey, and practice. Operates on batteries, etc. It's got a weird look to it. Looks like most of the other ones. So it's got a big raised speaker thing going on there. Controls for bat size, ball speed, and angling the shots. Attaches easily to any set. So it's in a box. The box is pretty crispy. It's old and it's probably been outside and gotten some moisture on it. Let's open it up if we can. Maybe open it from the bottom. Get it out of the foam. We've got 2 sets of foam here. Foam and bottom foam. Oh, and we've got like a Christmas card. Somebody must have got this for Christmas. And that's sweet. Let's peel that off the bottom. What happens is a few of these, not many, but a few of these systems I had out in a tub out in the garage when I moved to my house due to a space concern. And it wasn't any of the higher end consoles or anything. It was a few Pongs that I had out there and a broken laser active, which we'll get to eventually in this series. But this was one of them, and so the cardboard, it gets humid in the summertime, and this in Cleveland area where I'm at, and that cardboard just, it's been 10 years out there. It just gets a little bit sort of soaking up that air and dried out. Hank, Christmas is Love from Nance. Thanks, Nance. Wonder if Hank's still around. He'll never see this. It doesn't matter. So, it's Magnavox, licensed, right? Licensed by Magnavox, but it's branded with Windsor. So, I don't know anything about Windsor. There were so many different department stores out back in the day, and it's I've gone online and I've tried to look at different, like, look up different department store histories and things like that, but it's not always actually easy to find too much information about them. Because nobody, like, what is there really to say about a department store? I mean, if it's a famous one like Kmart or Sears, sure, but a lot of these other ones, I don't know. And I don't even know if that is from a department store. I don't know. So it looks like this was maybe half used. It looks like, what was his name? Willard or something? Hank. It's like Hank might have just played it one player. Because we've got the one unit here, right? That's pretty normal, and it's got the double analog connection deal there, which is interesting. It's a bit more complicated than ones we've seen in the past because, yeah, it doesn't have any buttons on it or anything. It's just a control. The ports are on the side. But here with the other one, versus the first one, this one still has the paper on it. Right, so a lot of times they put this kind of like protective paper over there so it wouldn't scratch up the chrome in shipping. So interesting there. And then also on the main unit side, he still has the plastic cover on the right side. You know, not for the reset button, but it looks like, yeah, on the left side, there's definitely no plastic there. So that's interesting. Otherwise, it looks really new and clean. We have a bat, big, small, serve, main, auto, speed, slow, fast, angle, and power. And we have a dial and a nice looking speaker right there. Looks like we've got a plug, DC 9 volt, tip is positive. Just the tip. Channel 3 and channel 4, and we take some C batteries, it looks like. Alright, so we'll go right here. We got a little bit of information here. So it's a H&P Electronics in Hong Kong. Model number HP 500. FCC stuff. Got a serial number here. 80301. So I doubt they made 80,301 of these. Maybe it's number 301. Who knows? Yeah, so let me put some batteries into it, hook it up to the VCR, get it in the encoder, and let's see what we got. Let's see if it works. I'm sure it's just an AY38500, but let's see. You never know. Here we go. Okay, we're looking at the TV game from Windsor. Looks like an AY38500 or maybe a Texas Instruments chip. The small paddles here. Let's see if we can make the bats bigger. There we go. And interesting, when you plug in the external plugs, the game plugs don't work. So it's not a 4-player system, I think. Let's switch to hockey. Yeah, hockey is not, it's not 4-player at all. So let me remove these plugs. Yeah, and then the main plugs start working again. So that's an interesting little feature, and probably explains why they're as complicated as they are. Let's go to squash. And practice. It's a little bit loose there. There's the secret mode. I learned about this in one of the articles, where if you don't choose a game, then it will okay, so loud. If you don't use a Yeah, if you don't, anyway, if you don't use, if you don't choose a game, like that was one of the features of this system. If you didn't choose, like this microchip, the AY38500, if you did not choose a game, right, on the game switch or whatever it was on the microchip to supply power to that one lead or whatever it was, then it would put you into this handicapped hockey mode, which gives you the 3 on the one side and the 2 on the other. You know, sort of a hidden extra game in the system. So even back then, there were Easter eggs in Pong systems. How crazy is that? So yeah. Anyway, this one works. You know, it's a keeper. We'll box it back up and put it back in the collection, and then we'll begin the. We'll start to get into the Odysseys and get through that, starting with the Odyssey 1. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Later.